This is take one.
Don't mess with people with cauliflower ears. And
Cauliflower ears.
best way to get good at boxing, and everybody hates it, it's called shadow boxing.
If they hit the other person like this,
Oh my god.
or like this with their knuckle out, it's more powerful than doing just this.
I believe in our lifetime we're going to see MMA in the Olympics. Salon Pahlavana, اسم Khashayar
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is another episode of Masala Chai. You should be knowing this guy right now who's sitting right beside me because I have done a video with King Kash, actually Khashayar King, a.k.a. King Kash, who's the founder of King Martial Arts Company in Sunnyvale, Bay Area. So if you have not watched that video yet, do check it out. The link will be in the description box below. It was a super fun vlog that I did with Kash. And that day we shot a small podcast as well. But unfortunately, the technical setup got messed up a little. So I'm back, and thank you so much, Kash, for doing this again.
Abhinav is one of my favorite people, so I do not mind him coming back.
And if you can see the things that we are wearing today, t-shirts and everything has changed because Kash has also got this brand new t-shirts or the merchandise for King Martial Arts now. So if you're in the Bay Area, feel free to stop by and just get one. It's not free, by the way. It comes for a price.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. So as we do in every episode, I again have chai for Kash.
Oh, so good. Oh, the cinnamon, the spice, I love that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So anyone who wants chai, you will get a cup of chai also with this
Please
t-shirt.
put the ingredients on the video blog, okay? Or like the...
No, this is a secret recipe.
Ah, okay.
Just like some of your secret moves.
Oh, okay.
I do not want to call it out.
Alright, then you can just text me the recipe.
I will do that for sure. But Kash, welcome. And just if you can quickly introduce yourself to the audience. What has your journey been? I know you are not from this place. Mm-hmm. You have traveled a lot. Mm-hmm. So if you can just describe in brief what you have been doing and how did you really end up opening a gym in California?
Yeah, so I was born in Iran. I left when I was a kid, but I moved to Russia, then I moved to Ukraine, then I moved to Canada, and then America. But I've been in America for a very long time. How I like to tell my clients how long I've been here was before the iPhone. Right, so like I've really seen the Bay Area change. Apple, I went to Cupertino High School, so a lot of changes, but I've been here for a very long time. I played American football growing up, like in high school. I did really well with that. I could have went to college, didn't really pursue that career. Mm-hmm. I ended up meeting somebody that was an MMA fighter, and my brother always told me, because my brother was a wrestler, he said, hey, don't mess with people with cauliflower ears. And
cauliflower ears. Mm-hmm. What does that really?
It looks like broccoli on ears, and like people can't put your ears are beautiful. Yeah, those are beautiful ears. Cauliflower ears are like when blood gets caught in them and you gotta drain them.
Okay, so is that because of fighting? And
it's because when you get like your ear gets trauma, so if you do a lot of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and you can also get it with strikes in here, mm-hmm. What happens is the blood vessel pops and then all the blood goes in there. And if you don't drain them, they just get really hard, really gross, and you can't put earbuds in them.
Okay, changing topics. It's painful. So you are a trained MMA fighter. Mm-hmm. How many fights have you actually fought?
So I did 3 fights, and then right after my 3rd fight, I won by knockout, and I had a career choice. I could either just keep pursuing fighting, or I could just go into the workforce and start making money. Like I said, I think in our video blog, it's really difficult to make money.
As a trainer?
Well, as an MMA,
as an MMA fighter. Sorry.
As an MMA fighter, it's really hard to make money, and then being an MMA fighter in the Bay Area is really, really tough.
And it's scary as well, right? Now that I think about it. You talked a little bit about knockout. Mm-hmm. Was there any record that you set?
I did. So my 2nd fight, I had a 7-second knockout, and then after I didn't even know how fast it was because everything's just a blur, right? You just like going and reacting. And after I won, my coaches came, they're like, hey, we just got notified You got the fastest knockout in California. It was 7 seconds.
And what's the world record?
Probably like 3 seconds, to be honest. There's so many MMA organizations around the world. It's hard to keep up. I'm sure my record's probably been broken in California. This was a while ago, like 8 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, but
What was the weight category?
so I fight at featherweight. It's at 145. So we cut weight.
Okay, okay. And you train MMA for MMA. You train in general just weight loss and fitness. Do you also do jiu-jitsu?
Yes, so I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. The next belt is black belt. And just like everything, you got to really put in the time and effort. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really hard to rank in belts. It's, there's only 5 belts: white, blue, purple, brown, black, and red. But those are the founders. Only a handful of those get that. But
yeah, we talked about the founder red belt in our video a little. So again, check out the video because Kash talks a little bit about how you get the red belt, and unfortunately I cannot get it. Leave alone red. I don't think I can even go to white.
you start off with the white.
Okay, you start off. So no matter what level you are at, you start off with the white.
Exactly.
We are right now in Sunnyvale at your dojo. What is this? How did it happen?
Yeah, so what ended up happening was during COVID, I lost my job as a trainer at Facebook in Stanford University. And unfortunately, or fortunately, there's 2 routes I could have went to. I could have stayed at home, done nothing, and just been hanging out with my daughter, with my family, which is very fortunate. Or I could use this time and effort into building something better than I had. I really feel like I peaked at those companies. When I was there, I didn't think there was that much more room to grow, and I've always wanted to open up my own martial arts studio, my own dojo, and COVID happened. I didn't think I was gonna get this free time to really put down the hardwood floors, put down the paint, talk to Fuji, get mats, talk to Aqua, get bags, and do all this stuff if I was working full time.
So since you mentioned COVID now, what was the process like? Did you at any point feel that, hey, this is not the right time for me to start a dojo?
Oh man, I would say when I was painting
this was like the first step,
yeah,
probably.
Exactly. So I got my LLC through LegalZoom. Thank you, LegalZoom. And
thank you, LegalZoom. If you're watching, you know what to do.
And then I was online. LoopNet.com is for commercial real estate. So I was looking at different places to lease out. I got outbid for a couple places.
So this was not your place of choice too?
At first it wasn't. Then I found this place, and this is about a 1,600 square foot place, and I was telling myself, okay, you could start small and then as from there grow. So everything worked out, got the lease, signed the lease, started painting, started putting the floors in. But when I was painting, the lot is empty. I'm looking on the news, people are talking about COVID cases, this, that, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? You know, am I making the right decisions? I don't have a business partner, so I've used my own money into this. So at times it was scary, but I gotta take the risk.
Yeah, I think it's super commendable that irrespective of the situation in the external world, you kept on doing it. And I used to follow you on Instagram even today, like you do. So Kash's Instagram link is also in the description box below. But you used to put up like each and every progress that you made over time. So was there any moment during that journey where you felt COVID is not going away? Like, should I just stop, take a break? How was that? Like, how did you prepare yourself mentally to keep on going at it?
Absolutely. So when I wrote this business plan, I really did it with COVID-19 in mind. So my building is 1,600 square feet, like I said, and I'm only gonna, once the ban is lifted, I'm only gonna have 25% capacity in the beginning when people feel comfortable. Also, if you look at the way my heavy bag stands, they're more than 6 feet apart, so people really feel comfortable. They're about 8 feet apart from each other, so I really wrote it down for make it COVID friendly. Also, I don't have a cash register, right? Everything's booking online, paying online. So I really focused on COVID.
Post-COVID era, how things would look like.
Exactly.
So you have an app where people will go and book?
Yes, so I'm using the software MindBody. A lot of my clients have used that with other gyms, and I really feel like it's I've used it before in my other gyms that I worked at as well, and I feel like it works out perfectly for like booking classes, paying, and all that stuff.
Do you think any of or whatever strength you got during this time to actually put this beautiful gym together without getting scared of what was happening in the world also comes from the fact that you have been a fighter at some point in your life, and you sort of prepare or get that fighter mentality or challenging attitude naturally, right? Did you I know this happens a lot in Bollywood movies where like the actor is doing something and they get reminded, they go into flashback and they get reminded of things that they were doing. So this happens a lot in Bollywood movies where the actor gets reminded, like they go into the flashback, and if they're doing something today, they get reminded of how it relates to what happened in like, their life 10 years ago or something like that. Did you also ever come across those situations at all?
Yes, so I'm a big believer. One, I have to put my trust in God. You know, as much as people want to say this and that, like, to be honest, it seems like God made COVID, so God is the one that's going to take it away. You know, so the whole world got shut down, so I couldn't be selfish and being upset like, oh, how come these aren't open and this is not open? But I was definitely getting flashbacks, and I'd always tell myself, hey, you know, God is in charge, right? Let him be in charge. Sometimes you'll have to question God's plan, like, why is this happening or why is that happening? But in the end, it kind of works out better.
Things will get better.
Exactly. So I just kept putting my head down and just paint, put the floors in, you know, all that stuff. But I was definitely getting flashbacks, yeah.
So now that it's all done, how desperately are you waiting for people to show up and start doing stuff?
Yeah, so I've been a trainer in the Bay Area for over 10 years, and I have a lot of clients that are still in the Bay Area, and they're all excited from all the different gyms I worked out, so they really want to come in and train. And just, yes, I'm so pumped to really train them at my full potential. I'm waiting for the ban to be lifted so I can start training. Right now I'm selling t-shirts, selling hoodies to make some money to pay these bills. Like, retail building in the Bay Area is pretty expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine how crazy that would be.
Yeah. But so I'm just rolling with the punches, seeing how it goes, and then God willingly will open up soon. I do get a little jealous of the gyms in Florida. I don't know if you've been seeing them. They're 100% capacity. They're rolling around, sweating on each other, acting like COVID is nothing. It seems like their MMA might get a little bit better, but you know, I'm just waiting for the ban to be lifted here.
So I see a lot of people working out outside. There's a grocery store right next to my place, and they have tents, and it's open air, it's outdoor, so they are not very scared of it. Did you ever think of something like that, where you could also do something outside and train people outside?
Absolutely. So I did talk with the landlord, and part of the lease agreement, like I said, I wrote this down during COVID, and I said, hey, if things get bad, can I just teach people outside? But you can't bring these nice mats outside. These are the 2-inch Fuji mats, right? These heavy bag stands, they're so nice. These heavy bags are so nice. So I feel like, yes, you could do some stuff outside, but here you're going to learn a lot more, right? So I'm just kind of waiting for the ban to be lifted, so to teach everything, to teach all the martial arts here.
So it's going to be MMA, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing,
boxing, and then I'm also going to have fitness classes here. So fitness classes will be doing like HIIT stuff, a lot of core strengthening.
I've been through that.
Yes.
It's crazy painful, but it shows effects for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was very effective. As I said also in the video that I did with Kash, that I trained with Kash for 6 months, and those 6 months were epic. It was not just me, and I think 3 other teammates from work. We all got together and trained with him, and we saw some significant changes over time. So definitely something that works. And I did some kickboxing classes as well with you. Yeah, it's scary, but he really gets into the zone and teaches you. So it was quite a lot of fun for me, I would say. Talking about the gym setup, since you mentioned the Fuji mats and everything, what does it really take in terms of money? You do not have to be exact and in terms of what it takes, but what would you say is like an average cost outside of rent, just the setup, what would you say someone has to shell out?
So I would say in America, you get what you pay for. And so for my facility, I've trained at other gyms. Like I said, this is the Fuji 2-inch mats, right? So this is the nicest mats you can get. I've trained at other gyms where there's the 1-inch mats, they're cheaper, 1.5-inch, and then 2-inch. And for me, I wanted to spend money on quality over quantity. So I spent really good money on this stuff, really good money on the heavy bag stuff, bunch of boxing gloves, and then even my t-shirts, I even went to a nice company, and the hoodie is like really soft, because I feel like I don't want people to come in and be like, oh, he cut corners, you know, at this gym, and or he did this or he did that. I really wanted to make sure people come in and really feel like they're training. Yes, like they're training like a king.
This is the Apple of dojos.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Then do you have to change these things over time, or you keep them going? Like, what's the average lifespan of this glove?
So the gloves, if you take care of them, like with hand wraps, it's very important that you don't use the same hand wraps for like everyday training. So hand wraps is something you put on your wrist and knuckles to protect yourself, because you don't want to just punch with the boxing gloves. You still can hurt your wrist, especially my clients that are engineers and typing. We need your hands. So with the wraps, they get really sweaty inside, and if you don't take care of them, right, they can get really smelly, and then also you can get staph and like really bacterial stuff.
But you're going to provide these at the gym, right?
Yes, so you can. I give you boxing gloves and hand wraps when you sign up. I'm also going to sell more hand wraps. And I think each person, depending on how many times a week you want to train, but if you want to train 2 times a week, you should have 2 different hand wraps. If you want to train 3 times a week, you should have at least 2 to 3 different hand wraps.
Is boxing or kickboxing an expensive sport?
Yeah, you get what you pay for. So if your coach isn't that great and he doesn't know what he's doing, he could charge you a little bit cheaper. But if you have a really good coach, like for me, my coaches were always really good, so I had to pay for them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was just wondering like how expensive it could get, but looks like there's a lot of things that you can do and make it expensive, but also keep it cheap if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of content on YouTube, like how to practice boxing, and a lot of great, even professional boxers will put up like video clips, do this, do that. Boxing in itself shouldn't be an expensive sport. People love the flashiness. They love the cool, like, oh, let me hit this bag, or let me do this, let me do that. But realistically, the best way to get good at boxing, and everybody hates it, it's called shadow boxing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's like
there's no one in front of you. You just...
And you're just practicing the technique, and you're doing it in front of the mirror to see, hey, am I bringing my hands back? Am I turning over on my punch? Am I dropping? What am I doing wrong? That stuff people hate. Like I've been teaching kickboxing classes for 10 years, and every time I'm like, all right, I have to jump ropes, I'm like, shadow box. I got people like, do we have to shadow box? And then you see the
one want someone that they can actually punch.
Exactly.
What's the scene of MMA today across the world according to you? Is it something that's growing, that has already grown a lot? Do you see pockets in the world where it's catching up a lot of traction now?
Yeah, so I think MMA is one of the fastest growing sports in the world, and I've been seeing a lot of it happen in like the Middle East and India and Dubai. So that MMA world is coming up, and Russia, it's coming up. I believe in our lifetime we're going to see MMA in the Olympics at some point.
Is that sort of your dream or your goal, that one day you would want to see MMA in the Olympics?
Yeah, I would love to see mixed martial arts in the Olympics, but only at the amateur level. Just like boxing, right? You can't be a professional and then go compete in the Olympics. So you'd see a lot of the young people coming up. Maybe they'll win like a gold, a bronze, a silver, and then they'll go into the big leagues of like the UFC, the Bellators, you know, the Matrix Fight Nights.
What's the big difference between MMA and boxing though? Sorry,
No, so it's okay. So boxing is just your hands, right? MMA, you're allowed to take people down, you're allowed to throw elbows, you're allowed to kick them in the head.
Oh, it's a lot more intense.
A lot more intense. So if you ever want to know about MMA and boxing, you can watch this MMA fighter that fought Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather.
That was a very popular fight.
very, very popular fight. One guy came from MMA, he was a superstar in MMA, the other guy was a superstar in boxing. If you watch that fight, there's this thing called a clinch. And a clinch is when we tie up, right? So when we hold on to each other. In boxing, they say, hey, separate.
Yeah.
In MMA,
you can just hold on.
Just throw him, right? So to me, yes, Floyd Mayweather won the boxing match. But if they were in the clinch and they didn't have to separate, Conor McGregor would have just slammed Floyd Mayweather on his head and then just beat him up.
Okay, I should go and watch that fight. I'm sure I won't understand every move, but it'll be fun to just see what happens. Did you ever watch WWE, WWF?
I did.
Who was your favorite player?
Oh man, I had so many favorite people in. I used to watch WCW as well, like a really long time ago. I liked Goldberg just because I feel like he did this thing like a spear.
Yeah,
And he just like tackled people through. I was like, oh, that's so crazy. The weird part about like WWF, because I always thought it was real when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, it's not real for everyone who's still in this. It's not real. If you're still watching and if you feel that you are watching something that's real, I have seen a match live in the US in my college. It was funny.
Oh yeah.
You could see like John Cena is like 2 feet away from the opponent, and they are making crazy noises, but it's all fake.
Yeah. I used to get so mad at my mom. She's like, oh, this stuff is fake. I'm like, no, it's not, when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
But
I think every kid would have probably done that when your parents were like, do not watch this. This is all fake. Someone would die if this were to happen. But yeah. So you said Goldberg was your...
yeah, I liked Goldberg. The Rock was really cool.
Oh yeah, I think Rock, everyone loved Rock.
Sometimes the bad boys are kind of fun. So like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold was not bad.
He just did the...
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think Stone Cold was not... He was bad, but when he teamed up with Rock at some points, it was fun to just watch both of them team up and do their thing. So Stone Cold, Rock, Goldberg.
Yeah, I like the Sting. I like the Undertaker. So it was a really cool time. Actually, the Vince McMahon really hated MMA. He said there's no... MMA will never
Isn't he in some UFC or something?
No, he actually hated... The reason why he didn't like MMA and he didn't believe it was going to do well, he said because your superstars have a chance of losing. Right?
Yeah.
So like The Rock will always win because it was written that Brock Lesnar, it was written for him to win, right? In MMA, you might get head kicked and you get knocked out, so there's too many variables. So he's like,
so MMA is real.
100%.
So whatever we see on the television today, MMA fights, they are all happening because there's blood and everything. So you basically are saying that MMA is all real. There's real blood, real fights.
Yeah. And the reason why I love MMA is because I feel like it's a human chess game. There's so many variables, right? So you can go to the ground, you can submit somebody, you can knock them out with stand up. There's so many things to do. Not just boxing, not just jiu-jitsu. I love it putting all together. You could get Olympian wrestler, right? And he comes into MMA. It's a whole different sport. You get a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, you get him into doing MMA, it's a whole different sport. And that's why I love MMA, because it's something unreal. It's something so new, something so different.
Okay. By the way, for anyone who's watching and who wants more information on what the pricing is going to be for the gym and all the other details, the link to Kash's website is in the description box below. It's actually kingmartialartco.com.
Absolutely, yep. kingmartialartsco.com. Also, I'm following all the COVID guidelines. Like I said before, it's going to be small group training, not that many people. 45-minute classes, and in between 15-minute classes, I get to clean up and like disinfect everything so people will feel really comfortable.
You're not teaching through Zoom or anything?
I'm not doing that right now because I feel like a lot of my clients already stare at screens, and like it's such a different feeling coming in to a place.
Totally.
Training thing.
I have a fun question. When I was in school, whenever there was a small fight, people used to think that if they hit the other person like this,
oh my god,
or like this with their knuckle out, it's more powerful than doing just this. Asking a trained MMA fighter, is this true? Like if I hit you like this,
oh my god, so if you do this and hit, I feel like you're gonna break your thumb. That's one. Okay. Two. What was the other one? This one. I don't know. I don't think so. I think first of all, don't throw any punches in a street fight because your hands are very, very fragile. If you look at it, there's a lot of little bones here, so you have a high chance of breaking your bone. Professional fighters get their hands wrapped and they wear gloves and they still break their hands. Sure. So if you don't know how to correctly punch, you could definitely break your knuckles. I'll give you a tip. No tip.
No, that's fine.
Okay, if you're gonna throw any kind of strike, just throw an elbows because you're not gonna break that.
Yeah, that's COVID friendly as well nowadays.
COVID, you'll get a little bit closer, but yeah, try not to strike. If anything, go run and get help.
Yeah.
And if you really need to protect yourself, call 911.
Yeah. In the US, yes, you can. Not everywhere else.
Yeah.
What's your view on self-defense? Should you be learning MMA, boxing to fight out, or just to be prepared if anything comes up?
Yeah. So martial arts it's like self-defense, right? So what it is you learn how to. Martial stands for like military combat.
Okay.
And art is just like an art, like painting, dance. So you learn how to become like a killer, but you should never, real martial arts, you should never go out there and bully people.
So just because you know stuff, you should not go out on the streets and challenge people.
Mm-hmm. But I'll be honest, because I have a mixed martial arts background, I used to do security at nighttime at a nightclub. So that was the only time I can train 2 times a day and then work at night. And my martial arts experience paid off really well in those scenarios.
Okay, let's not get there.
Yeah, and I'm not a big guy, so it worked out really well.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are pretty much done with the podcast. If anyone has any more questions, you can check out Kash's LinkedIn. You can check out his Instagram. You can also comment you can also comment below and just ask him questions, but feel free to reach out to him through email or whatever.
So I'm not really that good at Farsi. My Farsi is broken, but I want to say something. Salam pahlavana, اسم من خشایاره. میخوام به شما بگم تو یوتیوب نگاه کن. دوست من ابناو چنلش رو نگاه کن، لایکش بکن. هم میتونی ببینی، منو ببینی، ابناو ببینی، ویدیوشو ببینی.
What did you say?
So I said, check out Abanov's YouTube channel. My name's Kash. Check out his channel. You get to see some of our content, some of the stuff we shot together.
Okay. It's funny, every time I ask someone to say like, share and subscribe in their language, they will think about it for a minute and they will say like, share, subscribe.
Finglish. Farsi, English. We just mix it together.
Yeah, but you were actually saying it completely in Farsi.
Thank you. I mean, when I speak Farsi to my family members in Iran, they're like, oh my God, you sound like an American.
Yeah, you have that accent because of that. Okay, so that was Farsi for like, share and subscribe. I could not understand anything else, but it sounded good.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, yes. He learned it already. Alright, this was it for today's episode of Masala Chai, where we talked to Kash about MMA. We talked about his journey of opening a gym. He is basically from Iran, but he has traveled the world to finally come to the US in the Bay Area. He's a trained martial arts trainer and he does a lot of training in the Bay Area at his newly opened gym, which is not open yet, but it will open soon.
God willingly soon.
It's called King Martial Arts Company. It's in Sunnyvale, 251 South Mary Avenue, suite number 4. Suite number 4. So if you're watching this, do check it out. You can also get this t-shirt, which is pretty cool. L size, I think I reduced just after meeting you last time.
There you go. Good job, man.
With just those 5 push-ups. But Kash, any last words, any pro tips for anyone who's watching?
I just want to say, Abinal, thank you for having me on your show. I had a really great time shooting the blog. I had a really good time shooting the podcast. This was some delicious chai. So make sure you definitely send me the recipe.
Okay, I'll text it to you. But that's it. We are signing off from Kash Dojo today. If you like this video for any reason, do hit the like button. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, do subscribe to the channel as well. But that said, thank you.
Thank you.
We're done.
Awesome. Woo! My legs fell asleep again.